Karen Lake begins as a classic babyface wrestler in strong steel wrestling. She is the kind of wrestler who believes in hard work, perseverance, and inspiring people. She wants to be a role model, similar to the way some fans viewed wrestlers like John Cena or Cody Rhodes. However, instead of becoming beloved, the fans turn against her. The audience sees her as too idealistic and too focused on being a hero. They start treating her like a wrestler they are tired of seeing. The reaction becomes similar to the intense boos that some popular wrestlers have received when fans reject the hero character. Strong steel wrestling itself has a rough, hardcore identity, similar in atmosphere to the old Extreme Championship Wrestling arena style. The building feels chaotic, with passionate fans, loud chants, aggressive energy, and a gritty underground atmosphere, but with strong steel logos, Titantrons, and its own identity. Karen's biggest supporter is her childhood best friend, Michelle Knight. Michelle and Karen grew up together. They entered wrestling together, chasing the same dream. They are basically sisters. The difference is that while Karen struggles with fan acceptance, Michelle becomes extremely popular. The fans love Michelle, and she becomes one of the biggest stars in the company. Karen versus the fans. One night, Karen enters the arena and tries to give a motivational speech. She talks about hard work, believing in yourself, proving people wrong, heroes, overcoming obstacles. But the fans immediately reject her. The crowd starts chanting, "Boring, you suck." They call her fake and accuse her of pretending to be something she is not. Karen tries to ignore it. She says she will not let the crowd stop her. She announces that she is entering the Elimination Chamber and that she will prove heroes can still win. The fans continue booing. Another female wrestler enters, and Karen competes for a spot in the Elimination Chamber. The match is intense. Karen fights through the hostility and wins. Instead of cheering, the fans chant, "Rematch!" They refuse to accept her victory. Karen walks away silently, trying not to let the rejection break her. Holmes begins attacking Karen's identity. Karen's rival Holmes appears. Holmes insults Karen and says she does not represent strong steel wrestling. She tells Karen, "You don't belong here. This isn't a place for inspirational speeches. This isn't a place for fairy tales." Holmes basically says Karen should leave because she represents a softer style of wrestling. Karen refuses. Michelle tries to save Karen. Backstage, Michelle finds Karen. Michelle tells her, "Don't let these people change who you are. Don't forget the person I grew up with. Don't let the fans make you quit your dream." Michelle reminds Karen that their friendship existed before the fame, before the fans, and before the pressure. Karen thanks her and hugs her. For a moment, it looks like Michelle is the only person keeping Karen grounded. Elimination Chamber. Months pass. The Elimination Chamber arrives. Michelle enters as a huge fan favorite. Karen enters, but the fans immediately explode with hatred. They chant insults at her. The contrast is clear. Michelle attacks fans, cheer. Karen attacks fans, boo. Even though both women are actually good people, the crowd treats Karen like the villain. The final two are Michelle and Karen. They fight emotionally because they are best friends forced into competition. Karen fights hard, but Michelle wins. Michelle becomes champion. After the match, Karen and Michelle shake hands. The crowd still refuses to respect Karen. Then the fans start singing, "Na na na na, hey hey, goodbye." The same type of chant used when fans want someone gone. Karen leaves the ring, clearly hurt. Karen refuses to quit on strong steel. Saturday night, Karen continues wrestling. The fans still boo her. Karen says, "I will not let this stop me. I will continue my career." Holmes appears and insults her again. She says Karen is like a rabbit surrounded by wolves. She says Karen does not belong. She mocks her with the idea of taking her Dora the Explorer backpack and leaving. Karen refuses. She fights Holmes in an extremely intense match, similar in energy to a major rivalry like Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair. Karen wins. The crowd still boos. Holmes looks angry and says, "This isn't over." Michelle Knight's attack later, disaster happens. Michelle Knight is found attacked backstage. Medical personnel rush her to the medical room. She's been stabbed and nobody knows who did it. The company launches an investigation. Months pass. The attacker remains unknown. Eventually, Michelle returns. The crowd erupts with cheers. Karen comes out genuinely happy that Michelle survived. Karen says, "I'm glad you're okay. Whoever did this will pay." Then Holmes enters with her group. She questions Karen. Holmes says, "Can you really trust Karen?" She suggests Karen might have snapped because of jealousy. Michelle defends Karen. She says, "I know her. She would never do this." Then Holmes reveals footage. The frame job. The footage shows someone wearing a hooded jacket entering Michelle's locker room on the night of the attack. The person enters. The person leaves around the same time Michelle was attacked. The jacket looks exactly like Karen's jacket. Michelle looks at Karen with shock. Karen says, "That isn't me." "I didn't do this," but Michelle is devastated. Holmes then reveals another piece of footage. It appears to show Karen talking to Holmes. The voice sounds like Karen. The recording says Karen is tired of Michelle getting all the attention. Tired of being the sidekick, tired of Michelle getting all the cheers. The voice says she does not know how long until she snaps. However, something seems strange. The voice sounds robotic. Almost fake, but convincing enough. Michelle believes she has been betrayed. She tells Karen, "I trusted you. You are family." Michelle pushes Karen away. The fans cheer. Holmes laughs in the background. The company believes Karen attacked Michelle. The GM orders Karen taken away. Karen desperately tries explaining, "I'm being framed. I didn't do this." Nobody listens. She is placed in an ambulance and sent to a mental hospital. 3 months later, the birth of Murphy. Karen disappears for months. The company believes the story is over. But Karen returns, not as Karen Lake, as Murphy. She appears wearing a leather jacket, biker-style gear boots, clown makeup. She has completely transformed. The once inspirational babyface is gone. The fans who rejected Karen created something darker. Murphy becomes unpredictable, unstable, and terrifying. She takes inspiration from chaotic wrestling personas like the Joker-style mentality and the unpredictable energy of wrestlers who blur the line between character and reality. Murphy's Revenge. During a match involving Holmes's group, the Aryan Club, a hooded figure enters. The attacker destroys one of Holmes's allies. The crowd is confused. Then the hood comes off. It is Murphy. The fans do not boo. They are shocked. The reaction is, "Holy crap." Some fans even cheer because they are fascinated by the transformation. Murphy attacks violently and shows that Karen Lake is gone. She is no longer trying to be loved. She is no longer trying to be accepted. She becomes the monster strong steel wrestling created. The birth of Murphy. The unhinged return. After being framed for attacking Michelle Knight, Karen Lake refuses to accept the punishment placed on her. The scene cuts to the office of the Strong Steel Wrestling general manager. The GM is furious that Karen has returned because, according to the company, Karen is supposed to still be in the hospital. The GM tells her, "You can't just come back here. You're supposed to be getting help. You're not supposed to be in this arena." Karen refuses to back down. She says she is not going to take responsibility for something she did not do. But then she admits something darker. She does not even know what reality is anymore. She says everything is confusing, but she knows one thing. She has to keep working. She has to keep moving. And nobody is going to stop her. The GM warns her, "If you keep this up, you might not have a job." Karen fires back, "If you keep this up, you might not have your kids around any longer." The GM is shocked. She says, "How dare you?" Karen responds, "No, how dare you?" Karen tells her that she's tired of people talking down to her. She says, "I go where I want. I do what I want. I do things for me now. Nothing is finished until I say it's finished." Then Karen says the line that shows her transformation, "I'm a freaking psycho, and I'm not done yet." Karen's transformation becomes complete. The GM is standing there, trying to understand what happened to the woman she once knew. Karen slowly walks toward her. She tells her, "I feel good. I feel happy. I feel free." She explains that she feels like she can do anything now because she no longer cares about consequences. The GM becomes nervous. She puts her hand up, trying to calm Karen down, but Karen does not listen. She pulls out her backpack. She takes out the bottle that has become part of her disturbing new identity. She pours it on the GM. Then she attacks. Karen tells her, "You know what you did to me. You know what happened. And you and half of those women are going to make it right." When asked how she will decide what is right, Karen responds that she decides now. She says everyone in the locker room is her enemy. Even friends, even people from her past. Nobody is safe. Karen leaves the office laughing like a clown. She laughs louder and louder. Then she lets out a huge woo. The segment ends. Murphy targets Holmes. The next Strong Steel wrestling show begins. Holmes has a match. She wins. But after the match, Murphy appears. She attacks Holmes from behind. Murphy destroys her opponent repeatedly. Then she grabs the bottle. The second the fans see it, the reaction is mixed. Some laugh, some cheer, some are shocked. Holmes immediately realizes what is happening. She rolls out of the ring. She quickly escapes. Murphy throws the bottle. It misses Holmes, but some of it hits her pants. Murphy stands on the ropes laughing. She tells Holmes, "It ain't over. Better watch your back." The crowd begins chanting, "Murphy, Murphy, Murphy." For the first time, the audience is not rejecting her. They are fascinated by her. Murphy's message to the fans. Murphy grabs the microphone. She tells everyone, "I want to make one thing perfectly clear." She says she might forgive Michelle someday for believing the accusations. But her forgiveness does not extend to the fans. She says the fans were never there for her. They booed her. They rejected her. They made her feel worthless. And now that she has changed, they want to cheer her. Murphy says, no. She says they created this version of her. She tells them they can hate her because she does not care anymore. And given the chance, she will gun them down with no hesitation. She leaves the ring mocking the fans. One hand on her hip, one hand raised into the middle finger in the sky. In disrespect. Murphy saves Michelle later. Michelle Knight has a match against one of Holmes's allies. Holmes and her group try interfering. Then Murphy appears. She attacks Holmes. Murphy throws the bottle at Holmes. Then she locks in her submission finisher. This other member of Holmes's group attacks Murphy. Murphy avoids the attack and hits her own finisher. The Bullet. A flipping DDT-style move where she drives her opponent down. However, another wrestler distracts Michelle. Michelle gets hit with a surprise reverse pin. She loses. Afterward, Murphy and Michelle stand face to face. They stare at each other. Michelle tries to fight. Murphy tries to attack. Michelle dodges and accidentally hits Holmes's ally. Then both women stand there. The history between them is obvious. They were once sisters. Now they are enemies. Michelle learns the truth. Michelle gives a speech. She talks about Karen. She says, I don't know who that is. The friend I knew is gone. She was replaced by this clown. She says Murphy is not the person she grew up with. Holmes enters. She claims Murphy and Michelle were never really friends anymore. She says Murphy is dangerous. Then Murphy appears. Murphy laughs. She says she has footage Michelle needs to see. The footage reveals the truth. Holmes' conspiracy is exposed. The video shows Holmes' ally putting on Karen's jacket. She copies Karen's appearance. She enters Michelle's locker room wearing the hood. Then another recording shows Holmes and her group planning the fake audio. They reveal they used AI technology to copy Karen's voice. They created fake evidence. They framed Karen. Michelle watches. She realizes Murphy was telling the truth. Michelle immediately attacks Holmes. She beats her down. She hits her finisher. Then Murphy appears behind Michelle with a steel chair. Murphy hits Michelle. On Michelle, Murphy waits. She climbs the ropes. Michelle slowly gets up. Murphy lies back and makes an X-shaped middle finger gesture. She waits. Then she hits her finisher. The execution. A running knee strike to the face. Afterward, Murphy makes a finger gun gesture. She pretends to shoot Michelle. Then she leaves the arena wearing her leather jacket. Murphy's new entrance. Murphy returns with a disturbing new attitude. Her entrance song plays. Some fans recognize the song and sing along. The crowd chants along with the American Horror Show part. Murphy becomes irritated. She grabs a fan poster supporting her. She tears it apart. She flips off the fan. Then she enters the ring. Murphy grabs a microphone. Holmes interrupts. Holmes says, "I always knew you were a joke. You were always a clown. You're just a Joker knockoff." Murphy responds sarcastically. She mocks Holmes. She insults her blonde persona and says Holmes' attitude matches the kind of person she hates. Holmes gets angry. They stand face to face. The arena feels like they are seconds away from fighting. Michelle tries to fix their friendship. Michelle enters. She apologizes. She says she wants Karen back. She asks, "What do I have to do?" Murphy stares. She asks if Michelle is serious. Murphy says Michelle abandoned her. She says Michelle chose her enemies. She says Michelle forgot about her while she was in the hospital. She talks about the isolation and treatment she endured. Murphy says, "You're dead to me." Michelle says, "I'll do anything." Murphy says, "Anything?" Michelle says, "Anything." Murphy jokingly suggests a blood bonding ritual. Michelle is shocked. Murphy then changes tone and says, "Okay, if that's too much, we can just hug." Michelle is confused. Murphy hugs her. Then Murphy suddenly acts strangely by licking her face. Michelle freezes. Murphy kisses her cheek twice. Holmes has enough. She pushes Murphy away. Holmes calls Murphy crazy. She says she will show Murphy what crazy really is. Holmes pretends to beat someone up. She says, "That will be you." Murphy laughs. Holmes says the laughter proves she is unstable. She says Murphy cannot beat her. Murphy mocks her. She says, "Oh, someone's stating the obvious again." She tells Holmes that if she wants to fight at Ultimate X, she will beat her. Murphy gets close and says, "If you push me again, I'll bite off your ear." Then Murphy says Holmes will be punished. Michelle is the appetizer. Holmes is the main course. Holmes tells her not to get ahead of herself. Murphy smiles. She says, "We'll find out at Ultimate X." The winner gets the briefcase hanging above the ring and earns championship gold. The segment ends.